Before starting the next lesson, try the warm-up questions. Pause the video, see how you do, and come back and we'll take it up. Hopefully you remembered the rules from the last lesson. 3 to the exponent 4 equals 81, so the base is 3, so log base 3. Log base 3 of 81 equals the exponent, which was 4. Here it's going the other way. The base is 4, the exponent is 5. 4 to the exponent 5 equals 1024. And you can actually double check that in your calculator so you know if you do it right. Here, log base 5 of 280, we need to evaluate that, but we don't have a log base 5 button in our calculator. So we need to remember the rule, log base 5 of 280 is the same as log of 280 divided by log of 5. Now I can type that in my calculator and I can get the answer. And that's just a recap of what we talked about in the last lesson. In this lesson, we're going to look at properties of logarithmic functions. So our whole goal here is so that you'll be able to identify the properties of a logarithmic function and explain or prove why some of these properties exist. So let's get into it. Sound intensity is measured in decibels, acidity in chemistry is measured in pH, and the intensity of an earthquake uses the Richter scale, and these are all important applications of logarithmic functions. So if we know the properties of logarithms, we can solve problems that involve them. And in order to solve problems, we need to figure out what the properties of logarithmic functions are. So I'm going to go through some basic properties as well as some more advanced properties of logarithmic functions, and I'm going to prove them using algebra. And then these properties are what you're going to be using as we move forward through the unit to solve different problems. So the first property that I'm going to look at with you is log base a of 1 equals 0. This is a property of logarithmic functions that is always true no matter what the base of your logarithm is. Whatever the base is, if you're taking the log of 1, your answer is 0. So how do I know that's true? Well, I need to prove it. When I think back to my exponent rules, I know that any number with an exponent of 0 is equal to 1. Now, I already proved that in the last unit, so we don't need to prove it again. This is assumed. A to the exponent 0 equals 1. And then I also know how to rearrange this and turn it into logarithmic form. I learned that in the previous lesson. So I know in the previous lesson, when I change from exponential to logarithmic form, the base is the same. And this number 1 moves here. The exponent becomes the number by itself. So this is just using what I learned in the last lesson to prove a point. So a to the exponent 0 equals 1. Because that is true, log base a of 1 equals 0. The next property of logarithmic functions is this. Log base a of a to the exponent x is equal to x. And here's my proof. So if I rewrite the logarithmic form into exponential form, I get this. So remember, the base is a, so the base is a, and this number here becomes my exponent. The argument here, a to the x, stays over here by itself. So again, I'm using the rules from the previous lesson to prove that this property is true, regardless of what a is. So if you have log of base a of a power with a base of a, so those two bases are the same, then it's just going to equal whatever the exponent was. And we'll go through some examples later that will actually use this with concrete numbers, and it'll hopefully make a little more sense. And here's my last basic property that I have. A to the exponent log base a of x is equal to x. This might look a little more complicated, but it's really just proving the exact same way I proved this first one. If I write in exponential form, I can rearrange it in logarithmic form, and that's the same thing that I'm doing here. In exponential form, I have a with an exponent equals x. So when I write it in logarithmic form, the base of my log is a, and this number here, x, that's what goes into, that's what I'm taking the logarithm of, and the exponent now becomes by itself. So I'm still using what I learned in the previous lesson. I'm rearranging exponential into logarithmic form, and that's how I can prove that these three basic properties are always true. Now, as far as proofs go, I'm probably not going to ask you to give a formal proof of these properties. I just want you to know the properties. But if you forget the properties, you can figure them out by changing exponential into logarithmic form. Now we're going to get into some more advanced properties. So take a look at this first one. Log base b of m times n is equal to log base b of m plus log base b of n. So notice this, the two values that you're multiplying in the brackets here, you're taking the log base b of both of those and you're adding them together. That's the property. Now let's see why that is true. First, I'm going to say that log base b of m is equal to some number, I'm going to call it a, just to simplify this. So if log base b of m is equal to a, then if I put that into exponential form, then m equals b to the exponent a. We're going to keep that in mind as we go forward. I'm going to do a similar thing here. Let log base b of n equals some number c. So we're just using a different label. But if I write that in exponential form, n is equal to b to the exponent c. Okay, so I've highlighted and tried to color code here. So m is equal to b to the exponent a, n is b to the exponent c. That's going to come in handy. Right now, you'll see why. So log base b of mn, this right here, I'm going to replace m with b to the exponent a, n with b to the exponent c. Okay, so b to the exponent a times b to the exponent c. I'm multiplying powers with the same base. So if we think back to our previous unit on exponents, use the exponent laws, we can simplify this. When you multiply powers with the same base, you just add the exponent, so a plus c. Now I'm just going to remind you of one of the previous properties that we looked at in the previous slide. Log base a of a to the x equals x. So what this rule said was, if you have the base of a in the logarithm and the base of a in the power here in the argument, then the whole thing simplifies to whatever the exponent is. So that means this whole thing, because it has a base of b here, this will simplify to just the exponent. So this is equal to a plus c. Now just go back to my definitions of a and c. Well, a is log base b of m, and c is log base b of n. So therefore, log base b of mn equals log base b of m plus log base b of n. So there you have it. This property is true, and this is why. Here's my second more advanced property. I'm going to prove it in a similar way. This time, instead of multiplying two numbers in here, I'm dividing, and the difference is here there's a subtraction. So I'm not going to go slowly through this because this is a very similar proof as the previous one. Basically, I let m be b to the exponent a and n is b to the exponent c. So I replaced m and n with those values. Use my exponent rule for dividing powers with the same base. I subtract the exponents. log base b of b to the exponent, it's just the exponent. So a minus c, now I just replaced. A was log base b of m, and c was log base b of n. So log base b of m over n is equal to log base b of m minus log base b of n. So there's your proof for why this is always true. And here's the last property that we're going to prove. And this is the last property that you need to know. So log base b of m to the exponent n is the same as n multiplied by log base b of m. So notice what happened here. This exponent, instead of being in the exponent, it now moved in front as a coefficient. Okay, so we're going to prove why this is true. I'm going to start by letting log base b of m equal some number a, just to simplify. So I can rewrite this statement that I just gave in exponential form, b to the exponent a equals m. Now I'm just starting with this statement here, log base b of m to the n, but I'm replacing m with b to the exponent a. And now I have a power of a power. When I have a power of a power, I can simplify that by multiplying the exponents. So I end up with log base b of b to the an. Now remember that rule where if you have the base on the logarithm and the base and your power in here are the same, then this all simplifies to just what the exponent is. So this whole thing is equal to an. Well, remember my definition of a. Up here, a is equal to log base b of m. So log base b of m multiplied by n, I'm just going to write that in a different order. It's n times log base b of m. And that's what I wanted to prove up here. All right, so log base b of m to the n is the same as n times log base b of m. Okay, so I've spent quite a long time here proving different properties. Now we're actually going to use them in some examples. Okay, here's my first example. Express these in expanded form. Okay, so I'm going to use all these properties to take this single logarithm and expand it. So this first one, I am taking a log of a division. So my rule was I take the log of each part, but I'm subtracting them. So this ends up being log of x minus log of y. Okay, that was using one of those basic properties. Here's another one, log of u to the exponent 4. Okay, so I can use that exponent rule of logarithms, if that's what you want to call it, and this ends up being 4 log u. All right, let's get a little more difficult here. Log of a multiplied by the square root of b. Now, we haven't seen a square root yet, but remember from our exponents unit, the square root is just an exponent of 1 over 2. So I can rewrite this as log of a b to the exponent half. So now in my logarithm, I'm multiplying two things, a multiplied by b to the half. So if I'm multiplying, that's when it's going to split up into two different logs, and I'm going to add them together. So I'll have log a plus log b to the half. Now here in my logarithm, I have an exponent, so I can use that same rule I did up here where the exponent goes out in front. I can do that here too. So it ends up being log a plus half log b. Okay, that's the expanded form. And this last one, it looks really complicated, but let's break it down. Okay, so first off, I notice that inside here, I have a power of a power. So x squared has an exponent of 6, y cubed has an exponent of 6. So I can just multiply these exponents to simplify. Notice I'm multiplying x to the 12 by y to the 18. So if I'm multiplying within the log, I can split it up and add two separate logs. And now I have exponents inside my log, so I can do the same thing where I did before, take the exponent outside, put it in front for each. So I end up with 12 times log base 9 of x plus 18 times log base 9 of y. That's fully expanded. I can't simplify these anymore. Now in this next example, I'm going the other way. Now I have expanded form and I want to express this as a single logarithm. So for this first one, notice log, log, log. The base of the log is the same. Remember, if you don't see the base, it means it's base 10. Okay, so the logs all have the same base. That means I can simplify these into a single log. But let's go one step at a time. We have a coefficient in front, so we can work backwards. 3 log x is the same as log of x to the exponent 3. 2 log y is the same as the log of y to the exponent 2, and 5 log z is the same as log of z to the exponent 5. Okay, so I have 3 terms, each with the same log base 10. Here I'm adding these ones, and I'm subtracting this one. So remember, when we split it up before, the adding came from when we multiplied those together, and the subtracting came from when we were dividing. All right, so if I'm adding these two, and I'm subtracting this one, then I'm going to be multiplying x cubed times y squared, and I'm dividing by z to the 5. So I end up with log of x cubed y squared divided by z to the 5. This last one, log base 2, log base 2, log base 2. Because all the logarithms have the same base, then I can simplify them into a single logarithm. We're going to do the same thing as we did before. The coefficients become the exponents. And then whether we're subtracting or adding, that tells us whether we're multiplying or dividing these numbers, okay? So x to the half, and we're subtracting the w to the 1/3. So that means there's a division between those two values, but we're adding this one. So that means they're multiplying by q. So we end up with this. Log base 2 of x to the half multiplied by q, because those were added, divided by w to the 1/3, because this part was subtracted. Okay, so I've simplified it into a single logarithm. Now if you want to go the next step, an exponent of a half is a square root, an exponent of 1/3, that's a cubed root, so we could rewrite it like this. All right, so we've got 6 new properties. Make sure you write them down, and then you're either going to be taking a single logarithm and expanding it out, or taking the expanded form like these and shrinking it down into a single logarithm. And now it's time to practice. So as you're working through the practice questions, if you run into any difficulty, let me know so I can do my best to help.